Don't know if you could hear the swarm up there. I had a swarm leave our Warre box there. The good thing was we found the queen laying on the ground with about 50 bees. They were all crawling around. So we picked the queen up and about 5 attendants at the time. Brought them over here to the bait hive. Put her in there. We just checked the bait hive. They've been in there for about 20 minutes now, 20-30 minutes. Queen's still in there. We saw her on some comb. And I did actually take a frame of some young brood, young nurse bees, and shook them at the front hive entrance to go in and hopefully put out enough hive pheromone to hopefully coax that swarm down and let them know that the queen is down here. Now, I've had a lot of activity around the hive after doing that. You can see all the nurse bees are gone. They've all went in, or they left and went back to their original hive. They were not part of that hive when I shook them in. So we know a few of them stayed. I'll show you here in the glass in a minute. So a few stayed. So now what we're wondering is the swarm getting more active? They obviously don't have a queen up there. So are they planning to come down here, or they may even return back to their original hive? Because again, they don't have a queen. So we're not quite sure. You can see that wand there at the entrance kind of putting her butt out with the pheromone. That says the Nasanov gland. That says this is home. This is home. To let the other bees know, and they'll smell that and come down and check it out and say, "Oh, well, this is home. How'd you guys get down here?" So if you can, I know the glass is real dirty, so it's very hard to make much out. But you can see the number of bees. Oh, I don't know. There's 100, maybe 200 in there right now. Every once in a while I do catch a glimpse of the queen running around. It looked like she was even laying eggs. So we know that as of right now, a few are calling this home. So again, hopefully it's enough and they can put the pheromone out for the swarm that left to be able to attract that swarm down here. So there's a handful in part of my bait hive here. I've had a handful of comb that I put in from last winter's dead outs. So that's what the bees are in there doing. They're in there kind of cleaning out the cells, getting them ready for the queen to be able to lay in. And we actually earlier, just a minute ago, as I opened the glass, I saw the queen actually sticking her rear into a cell and what appeared to be an egg coming out. So she went right to it, but you know, the other nurse bees are in there and cleaning things up for her. I'll try to zoom in here. I almost think that the swarm that had previously left, I think they're coming back down to their original hive. As again, as I said, they didn't have a queen with them, so I'm not too surprised about that. We thought maybe they might find the where the queen actually went. I moved her to a different hive, different part of the apiary. Yep, sure enough, they're all coming back down They're coming back down to their original hive where they had swarmed from. Yep, sure enough, you can see them plain as day. They're all so they all came back down. Unfortunately, it means I didn't quite get my split that I did with that other one. So what I just did, if you don't notice here, is once we saw that all those bees from the swarm were coming back to the original hive, I actually took and brought the bait hive over and set it right beside the original hive. So that's the bait hive right there. So that's where the queen is at, with about 50 to 100 bees inside there. And what I'm hoping is that this swarm, they may start smelling the queen scent and say, oh, here's home, type of scenario. Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. Otherwise, you know, I didn't really lose anything. May just have a very weak colony right there. And I would suppose that this one may end up trying to swarm later on. But if I could kind of coax them over there into that other hive, then I may be in pretty good shape. So that's what we did. We moved the bait hive over. Once we saw that they were all coming back, they didn't smell the queen. She wasn't with them. She was laying on the ground. We took and moved her, picked her up, moved her over to the bait hive, and they still didn't smell her. So we moved the bait hive over here and put it right next to the original hive. So you can see a few are landing there on the board, the landing board. I kind of closed up the entrance a little bit for them. Well, I closed it up because I was moving them. Didn't want them all coming out. But you can kind of see that there's a few that are landing there. Maybe even a few kind of got their butts up in the air with the nasonov glands going, saying this is home, this is home. Well, time will tell. Again, as I said, nothing lost if they don't. It means we won't have a true split by any means, but may just have a weaker hive if nothing else happens. So you can see here, as I was saying earlier, the swarm left. They somehow lost the queen. We were able to pick up the queen and move her. The swarm, kind of after about an hour, they came back to the original hive. That's them all right there at the original hive that they're coming back into. Air's pretty well filled with bees. And the genetics that we run here, very gentle bees. Obviously when they do swarm, they're a little more docile because all they're concerned about is finding home. But you know, we stand here, stand in front, look in the back of the Warres and the windows all the time. Never even stung. We run some pretty good genetics to be able to do all that. And you can see over there on the bait hive, you did only see initially about 10 or so kind of going in. There's probably, I don't know, you see them go quite a few marching on in, and you see the others coming out, sticking their butts in the air, releasing that nasonov, pheromone, say this is home, this is home. So that's obviously then coaxing some more of the swarm to go over. Two other points worth noting. If you see the white stuff that I have on the ground here, that is diatomaceous earth, DE. I use that to kind of help combat the small hive beetles that lay their eggs in the ground, different things along those lines. Of course, so the bees swarmed on, I put the DE out this morning early before the bees were out before sunrise. We're supposed to have rain later today. I did wash some of it in because I know, you know, it's not good for the bees, you know, even for them to walk on it. It kind of cuts up soft-bodied insects. So, you know, it's not good for the bees. So I did wash a little bit of it in, but of course they, you know, today's when they chose to swarm. And again, when I found the queen, she was walking, actually she was walking about right here at that spot. And there's a little bit of salt, and I put some salt out for them yesterday. She was walking on that, so it wasn't a lot of DE right there in that area. So I think the queen's fine. I don't think she would have gotten any DE, at least where I found her. She wouldn't have gotten DE on her. But there were a bunch of other nurse bees with her. The other thing to note is the Warre Hive is it's a 3-box Warre. They've got the first 2 boxes pretty full, and I've had the 3rd box. I put the 3rd box on when the box number 2. So you nadir. So you instead of supering, you put the box on underneath. That's nadiring technique. I put that box on when box number 2 was about 3/4 of the way filled out. So that's been about 3 weeks now that I've had box number 3 on there, and they've you know, they finished filling out box 2, and they really didn't want to move down into box 3 for some reason. So